Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little update for you guys, and I decided to title this video The Reality of Postpartum. I did want to follow up with you guys since I am almost 6 weeks out since I've given birth to my baby, and a lot of you guys have been asking me so many questions. I get emails, DMs, tweets on the daily because a lot of you guys are expecting, or even if you're not expecting, a lot of you guys have just been asking like how I've been feeling, how has it been since I've given birth, how my body has changed, how I've kind of dealt with postpartum depression, if I got any, just a bunch of questions. So I definitely wanted to address this video. I thought that it was important for me to post it on my channel because you guys are only going to see a picture on Instagram. You know, I posted a picture literally a week after I gave birth, and you guys are going by what you guys are seeing on my social media. You guys are seeing me post a picture and you guys are probably thinking like, oh my gosh, she's getting ready, she's fine, her body's back to normal. And in reality, it's not always like that. So I definitely did feel like this was an important video for me to put out for you guys because I don't want to misinform anybody or make you guys feel like you're supposed to heal the way that I did or deal with things the way that I did, when in reality everybody's journey is going to be completely different. But I did want to show you guys and let you guys know exactly kind of how things went down for me, because like I said, I really haven't talked too much about it. Even in my vlogs, I didn't vlog too much while I was recovering because I really wanted to take the time to myself to just focus on me and focus on my baby. But yeah, if you guys are interested, then just keep on watching. So I'm gonna take it back to you guys when it first started. But before anything, I do want you guys to just understand that it's really easy for somebody on the outside in to say, you can just take a couple of days off of Instagram or YouTube, or, you know, don't post anything, or why are you getting ready already? Or it's really easy for people to not understand what it is that people on YouTube or social media do. Unfortunately, I no longer work at a 9-to-5 at a corporation where I am able to have baby bonding or like maternity leave or anything like that. And it's not even about the money, because somebody even said a comment saying that no te vas a morir de hambre if you don't post for a month. You know what I mean? And it's not even about the money. Like, if I wanted to take time off, I could, financially wise. But in this industry, or however, it might not be the same for every YouTuber. It could be different. But for myself, I am on contracts with companies, and my pregnancy was very unexpected. And whether it's a year of a contract, 2 years of a contract, 6 months of a contract, I have responsibilities to my job to post. I can't just be like, you know what, I can't post because I had a baby and F my contract. You know, like, a lot of companies were very lenient with me and they were like, take your time. But eventually I have to get back to work. I can't just take 3 months off and not have to post or not have to, you know, advertise something, or just in general, like it could be with anything. So I had to quickly go back into work because there were specific companies that I had to post for. And I always want to make sure that my posts are very organic, and I'm not just going to post like an advertisement of like, follow this person, you know, like I want it to be me actually trying something, putting some jeans on, whatever. Whether it's any company, I have to be in the picture, and this is how it works, you know. So I do want to make sure that you guys understand that part, that I had to come back to work quick, you know, because I'm not trying to get freaking sued or something, or like, you know, they come after me because I'm not following up with my contract, because they take these things very serious. Companies do not, you know, joke around when it comes to things like this. Like, if you said you were going to be posting 3 times a week for them, you better be posting 3 times a week for them. At the bottom line, I signed, so it's like I need to, unfortunately, I'm the one who gets fucked in the ass at the end, because I have to get my ass up and do what I gotta do, you know. But of course I did take some time to myself to heal mentally, and it was literally, I would get ready and I would post a picture, and then I would take a shower, get my makeup off, and then go back to being with my baby. So I think a lot of people were like, oh my god, you're getting ready already, you're going out, you're already like doing things, and in reality it's not like that. And a lot of the time, most of the pictures you guys see on social media, I probably didn't even do shit that day. You know, I probably didn't even do anything, and I just put on an outfit, took a picture, and then came back home. You know, that's how it is a lot of the times when I do go out and do something. You know, you guys will know the difference. You know, it's at the end of the day, if somebody at a company sends me an outfit, I'm gonna post about the outfit, and then, you know, change if I don't have anywhere to go that day, if I don't have any plans that day. Usually it's on the weekends when I do go out. For the most part, throughout the week, I'm home, I'm editing, you know, I'm trying to come up with ideas to continue my business. I feel like this is like completely opposite of postpartum, but I just wanted to address that to you guys because I wanted you to know that it was important for you guys to know that the only reason that I really jumped back into trying to look presentable, it's because this was my job. You know, I really didn't have much of a choice. So taking it back to when I got out of the hospital. So I gave birth, and I'm gonna be very detailed with everything, and TMI, if you guys are not trying to hear any of this stuff, then just get out of my video now. But if you guys want to know what happens, then let me know. I just feel like it's important because I really did not expect half of the things that happened and how it happened, and I was just scared. I was very nervous, and you guys already know me. You guys already know how much of a freaking anxious person I am. I get scared when I feel like I'm getting sick. I'm just a very, 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 very like hypochondriac to the max. Okay, so I was scared shitless after I gave birth, and I really did try my best to take care of myself, and this is why I want to share with you guys how it was, you know. So I gave birth. First thing that they tell you is bleeding, right? We all know that we bleed practically to death because we bleed a lot. They give you diapers that you put on when you first give birth, and they basically like press on your stomach and they take everything out. Like they went in and did it like 5 or 6 times in the time that I was there to just make sure that I was getting everything out of my system. If you rip, if you have a C-section, things are going to be different, and they're going to take longer to heal. Because I know when my sister, she had like a really, really, really bad rip, and they had to sew her, and she was like in excruciating pain. And I'm talking about like the poor girl, it would burn when she would pee. Okay, in my case, I didn't rip because my baby was so tiny. He was super small and he was super skinny, so you know, he came out. I mean, they say it depends. Also, the nurse that, because I heard that there was a lot of girls who said that they gave birth to 5-pound babies and they still ripped, you know. So I think it definitely depends on your doctor, the nurse is helping, whatever. Because my doctor was very, very like, she was telling me like, slow down, don't push, because I want to make sure that there's little tearing, and I want to do this a very slow way where you can open up enough to where the baby just comes out smoothly, you know. So she definitely guided me through making sure that I didn't get any type of cuts that were going to prolong my healing process. And when that happened, you know, we know that when you have vaginal birth or even a C-section, like there's going to be a lot of bleeding. So I knew there was a lot of bleeding, but I didn't expect there to be as much as there was. I would literally get up and like blood would just gush on the diaper. I didn't like gush out or anything like that, but it was scary, you know. It was scary because, you know, they tell you like if you're passing blood clots, it's dangerous, if this and that. Like, it was just a very scary experience. And I tried to stay in bed as much as I could. As much as I could, because I just didn't want to get up and feel like your blood gushing down, you know. So there was a lot of bleeding, but thankfully my bleeding heavy only lasted 2 days. After the 2 days, it was very light bleeding, kind of like, well, I wouldn't say light bleeding, it was still a lot, but I am somebody who gets a very heavy menstrual cycle, so I'm used to bleeding a lot. So to me, it was just like I was on my period. The only difference was that I couldn't put on a tampon, so I'm feeling everything because I haven't worn a pad in a really long time, you know. I wear tampons, so that was different for me. And every time I would get up, I would just be like, oh, it's coming down, you know. I would laugh and it would come down, I would sneeze and it would come down, and it was just a murder scene. So that was definitely something different for me. I was very much in pain as well. Not when I was peeing. When I was peeing, they give you like this little spray that you like spray, and I didn't even have to use it because I didn't have any like vaginal pain or anything when I was peeing. It was all kind of just, you know, coming out. It wasn't burning. I didn't get any burning. Nothing really hurt. I was on like pain medication for 3 days, so I definitely think that helped, obviously, with the pain. But honestly, I felt good overall, like down there and in my stomach. I felt good. I felt fine. I didn't feel like it was nothing that I couldn't take. I was just psyching myself out because I'm a fucking chicken when it comes to like me feeling sick. So that's how I was. I came home, and then when I came home, I had so much help. I'm talking about the most help I could ever imagine. I had a full house every day. If it wasn't my sisters here, it was my sister-in-laws. If it was my sister-in-laws, it was my mom. If it wasn't my mom, it was my suegra. If it was my suegra, it was my aunt. Like, we had so many people at the house literally for like the first 2 weeks. You guys know my mom lives a couple of houses down from me, so she was at my house every morning. She was making me caldo de pollo, arroz, chicken, feeding me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, I couldn't even traspasarme because my mom was there feeding me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And she was making me hot chocolate at night. I think that's kind of like a Mexican thing, like caldo de pollo, hot chocolate. As soon as I also got home, I fajarme. So I bought a faja and I started fajándome. My mom was like, you cannot not fajarte, because even if you automatically go back down, you will get a lot of loose skin, and you need to fajarte right away. I know it's different when you have C-sections and you have to wait longer because you have a C-section, you have a scar, it hurts, you know, you can't just fajarte right away. So if you do have vaginal birth, you will be able to fajarte right away. So I put my faja on, and I started seeing my waist, you know, cinch in. Mind you guys, my belly didn't get super huge, you know, but as soon as I gave birth, everything came out of me. Like, my stomach was pretty much back to normal. I didn't even have like a big bump or anything like that. It all came back into place. Put my faja on, and in like 3 days, my body was literally back how to it was. I've never had a flat stomach, like without any fat in my stomach. I've never had like a super just like straight flat stomach. It's flat when I like suck it in and when I'm standing up, but I've always had, you know, like a little bit of meat on my stomach. I've never had a flat stomach like that. So it went back to how it's always been. That was very quick for me. Now, as far as how my body has changed, my body has changed a lot, even though you guys probably haven't noticed, and you guys are like, oh girl, you bounced back so quick. My weight is back to normal. I'm actually less than what I've weighed before. I'm at a solid 129 pounds right now, and I'm back to way, you know, lower than what my normal weight was. So when I went back to my weight, I was kind of noticing that stuff wasn't fitting me the same, and that's when I was like, whoa, hold up. If I'm smaller than I was before, why are my jeans not fitting? Why are my shirts fitting more snug? Why are things not fitting the way they used to be? And that's because my body changed. And I've always, you know, when I first started YouTube, when you guys remember, I was very like skinny, and I'm talking about I see videos and I was like, you could see like my collarbone hella deep, and my face was just hella like, you know. I've gained a few pounds, you know, since I first started, and my weight has always kind of fluctuated, you know, up and down, but my body has changed in shape in general. My hips are wider, and it's not like a cute wide, like it's like I got a mom bod. Like, legit, like my body, like my butt is not like, ooh, it's like perky up and like you're cute. No, like I need to go to the gym and get that shit back together, because my butt is like drooping and my thighs are bigger. I got a lot of stretch marks on my ass. I got a lot of stretch marks on my thighs. I got a lot of stretch marks in my inner thighs, and they're little stretch marks. Like, I could be exaggerating, but they're like little stretch marks. They're like, you know, but I've always had stretch marks on my butts, on my thighs, and You guys already know I don't give a fuck about stretch marks. I didn't care. I always told myself that if I got stretch marks, it is what it is. I've never cared about stretch marks. So to me, I'm like, whatever, it just happened. I don't think they look gross. I don't think they look nasty. I'm very content with how they look. But my body overall, it did change. And honestly, there's nothing I can do about it besides go to the gym and, you know, basically just tighten everything up. But other than that, I'm just making the best of it. Even in dresses, I just look a little bit like more like on the whiter side. My boobs, I was loving my boobs in the beginning. But now I'm going to jump into how breastfeeding was. I was struggling a lot to breastfeed, and I already knew that I was going to struggle a lot because you guys know that I have a slightly inverted nipple and it's a little flat. I have to like play with it in order for it to pop out. So I would like stimulate it a little, and then the baby, you know, would latch on. And babies need to realize that this is a two-way streak. Like, they have to compromise with us and they gotta work with us. And my baby was not having it. He was so frustrated. He was like all over the place. And mind you, I gave birth to 5 pounds 14-ounce baby. He's tiny. His face is like this small, okay? My boob is like this huge, and his little face is like trying to suck on my big old boob, and it was just horrible. I was getting frustrated, and my mom was like, just relax, Blanca, it's gonna take time. So I would like squeeze my boob, and whatever would come out, I would just give it to him. This was the first day. The first day that I gave birth, they say that the colossum, I think that's what it's called, something like that, is the best part, right? So like that first yellow stuff that comes out is the important stuff. So I would fill up this little tiny cup and just feed it to my baby. And I was like, how is he surviving? Like, he needs food, you know? I always thought that you give your baby food right away. They were like, his stomach is this tiny, he doesn't need that much milk. And I was like, okay, well, you guys are the doctors, you guys are the ones who know, you know, I'm just here to listen to whatever you guys have to say. So then that night, my baby was crying and crying and crying. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what is happening? Because my baby was so calm. But then I was like, great, the baby cries are starting to come out already. And mind you guys, he was just hungry. And I'm talking about he was starving, because I would give him the chupon and he was like he never ate in his life. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, technically... See what I did there? But anyways, I gave him the chupon, and he was like, you know, getting upset. And they had told me not to give him the chupon too, because that was going to confuse him. But I had done research about how important the chupon is to prevent SIDS. They say that it's better if you give them the chupon early on, because it minimizes it. So I definitely wanted to be team chupon. So then I did that. So maybe that was my fault. I fucked up probably by doing that, but I gave him the chupon right away. And when I called the nurse, I was frustrated at this point. I was like, my baby's not latching, he's not eating, you guys need to bring me milk like right now, because I need to feed my kid. Like, I'm not gonna have him be starving because you guys want me to breastfeed. I get it. Props to moms who can breastfeed for years and years and years. Like, I envy you guys legit, because if I could have done it, I would have. But it was not working for me. So I introduced formula, and as soon as I put formula, I swear, like, the guilt just started to kick in, and I was like, oh, fuck my life. I was like, why did I do that? And mind you guys, when you give birth, you are so hormonal, emotional. You're very hard on yourself, because you want to be like the perfect mom. You want to just know everything, and in reality, you don't. It's new to you. You need to just take a deep breath, realize that nobody was just born the perfect mother. You know, it's a learning process, and it's gonna come naturally to you if you just relax. You know, I feel like the less I worried about it, the smoother things were just transitioning for me, and the quicker I started to pick things up. And you become very protective, because I know myself, I wanted to do everything. Like, I wanted to feed the baby, and I wanted to make sure that he was taken care of, and I could do it better. You know, like, you feel like you are the only one that knows how to do this, and nobody around you understands, you know? So I was feeding the baby, and the guilt kicked in, and I was like, shit. So then my nurse comes in, the lactation nurse, and she's like, don't feel discouraged. You're gonna be okay with it. The breastfeeding is gonna come. Just because you introduced formula doesn't mean that you can't breastfeed. So I was like, okay, good. So she made me feel better. She was like, when you go home, just keep practicing. They gave me the nipple shield, and he would latch on for a little bit with the nipple shield, and then he would get frustrated because it would kind of like slip off, because then my nipple wouldn't get hard, and it was just a freaking mess. Like, I seriously feel like I did everything I could to get him to latch onto my boob. And there was one day when it was successful. It was like at 2 weeks, and he latched on, and it was a proud moment. I tweeted about it, and I was so happy, and that lasted for about like 2 days, and then he gave up again, and he would just get frustrated. He didn't want to work for it. He really didn't. He was like, he got so used to, me just feeding him, that he was like, if I don't try, she's gonna give me a bottle, so it was, I didn't do things maybe the right way since the beginning, and that was my fault, but it was very, very stressful, and I was struggling a lot, and breastfeeding was probably the most difficult for me, because you feel bad and things didn't get any better. Okay, so with the breastfeeding process, I woke up with my milk came in, and it came in flowing. So that's why I was like, I got this. Like, none of my sisters produced as much milk as I did, so I was feeling proud. I was like, yes. I was like, I'm milking. I'm like, my baby's gonna be fed. I was pumping 8 ounces, literally, like at every feeding I was pumping so much milk. So I was like, yes. I was like, draining my boobs. Oh my god, my boobs were huge of how engorged they were. Like, they were humongous. They felt like piedras. Like, they felt like rocks. They hurt. I couldn't even sleep on my stomach. I couldn't even carry my baby because of how bad my boobs were hurting. I was in excruciating pain. Not even pumping hurt as bad as my boobs did. Pumping was very easy for me because I bought nipple cream. I have it in my what's in my bag. I bought nipple cream, and that was my lifesaver. I was stimulating my boobs, I was lubricating them, and I was pumping, and everything was just perfect. I was pumping, I was having enough milk for my baby, he was eating his milk, he was pooping, he was peeing, he was gaining weight. I was like the proud mom. Like, I was that mom. I was like, yes, I got this. I was born to do this. This was me, So I was like totally having this moment, and everything was flowing really, really, really good. And then I started draining my milk, and draining it, and I got into a routine. Every time he would eat, I would pump, eat, pump, eat, pump. So that way I was pumping every 2 hours. So I discovered that I had a clogged milk duct under my boobs, which people don't tell me about. I didn't know about it, at least. I had a clogged milk duct, and it was like a third boob. I literally had a third boob growing on my armpit, and it was producing milk. Okay, fucking weird. Fuck grows a third nipple. Not even a nipple, a boob, because it didn't have a nipple, guys. And I was scared. I was freaking out. You guys already know the fucking hypochondriac in me. I was like, oh my god, it's probably something bad, and Maximiliano needs a mom. What am I gonna do? So I go to the doctor, and I have them check me, and I was like, something is wrong with my armpit. They took me, they did x-rays, they did ultrasound. It ended up being that it was a milk duct, and it was big. So when my boobs would get big, my armpit would get big. When my boobs would get small, my armpits would get small. So it was like up and down. So then I spent a lot of time breastfeeding, just draining my boobs, pumping, just to make sure that I was getting all the milk out, because it was painful. And I struggled with the pumping because I was getting very lightheaded. So I was anemic after I gave birth. So I just felt that first 2 weeks like the life was literally getting sucked out of me. And I'm talking about, I felt horrible, guys. Like, postpartum is literally no joke. Like, I know I made it look like fucking a cup of tea, but no. Like, looking back at how I was feeling, you need to rest a lot, and you need to take it easy, and you need to just take care of yourself in these times, because it's so much on your body. Like, if you really sit here and think, like, you just, you know, made a child inside of you. You gave birth to this child. Your organs are going back. You're feeding your child. Like, your body is just being drained. You yourself, you're being drained to continue to give life to this other human, you know? And if you don't take care of yourself, like, it could go downhill from there, you know? So I was on iron pills. I was still taking my prenatals. I was taking vitamin D, I think it was. I was taking a whole bunch of just vitamins because I was feeling like absolute death. Keep your mind in this perspective. I was bleeding to death. I was breastfeeding, so everything was getting sucked out of me. I was dizzy every single day. I had freaking diarrhea for like a whole week. Okay, so I didn't get constipated, thank the Lord. I got constipated like 4 weeks after, which was fucking hell. Okay, I'll jump into that. This video's gonna be so freaking long, I'm sorry guys. But I had diarrhea, so I was like fucking shitting my life away. I was bleeding my life away, and I was leaking my life away. Like, I had nothing in me. I literally had nothing in me. My sisters would come and visit, and they would be like, Blanca, you look so like demacrada, like you're so tired, and like you have some big ass ojeras, and it looks like you're dying, you know? So I was like, what is happening to me? Like, I felt so weak. I would get up and I would get dizzy. Like, I would get lightheaded. It was hard. It was so hard. Like, I'm saying like and so much, but I just wish you guys understood, and you guys probably do understand because you guys have been there. If you guys have been there, and if you haven't been there, just please don't take it lightly. Take advantage and get as much help as you can. And I feel like that's why I thankfully did not get postpartum depression. A lot of you guys also asked me about that. I know that it's very common for you to get it, you know, weeks, even months after. So far I've been good, and I've just been trying to take care of myself because I am somebody who naturally has anxiety. So I didn't want to, you know, make it worse for myself. I think it's definitely keeping yourself busy and associating yourself with a lot of people, and get as much help as you can. If you don't have help, I'm sorry, I really am, and I just feel like you need to just hang in there and know that this isn't forever. It's just temporary, and it's going to get better. Because if you don't have the help, not everybody is as blessed, you know, to have people there all the time helping them like I am. My mom was like, has been, you know, she's the one who actually has been taking care of my baby when I'm up here filming. A lot of you guys think it's Yvette. Yvette is the big help, but Yvette she works for me as well. So, you know, she's handling my website stuff right now. I'm coming out with a huge launch, like you guys know, so she's been taking care of all that stuff. She doesn't have time to take care of my baby, you know. My baby is my baby, my responsibility, and my mom has been the most tremendous help. So she has been the one that's just been kind of like making this process for me so easy, because if I didn't have her, I'd probably be going crazy, as well as my husband. I don't want to discredit him because he has been a freaking angel sent from heaven, okay? Because like literally he has been so much help, and he doesn't complain, not one bit. He doesn't make me feel bad about asking him for help, nothing. Like, we got this, me and him, like we got it. Okay, so getting so much help is important. What else was I gonna mention as far as how I was feeling physically? So after weeks went by, it was my nephew's birthday. Well, actually at 2 weeks, it was my nephew's, not his birthday, his graduation party. I went out, I went to the party. I, you know, got ready, put on a sweater, put on some leggings. That was the picture that I posted where I was like, my mom let me out. I went to the comida, and I left because I felt like shit. I thought that I was okay, and I wasn't. And that's where you're gonna know, don't push yourself, because you'll know, you yourself will know how far you can take your body. And you know, I was there and I said hi to like basically all my family. I just wanted to, family had came down from LA, and I just wanted to make sure that I said hello, spent time with them. I was there for a couple of hours, maybe like 2 or 3, and I came back home because I couldn't even get up without feeling dizzy and lightheaded and nauseous, and I'm still healing, still till this day, still till today. I'm still healing. About 3 weeks passed by, and so 2 weeks before this, I got constipated. And when I got constipated, it was horrible. My stomach was in excruciating pain. I was bloated. I was like hating life at this point because I like to poop. I enjoy pooping. So being constipated is like the worst thing that could ever happen. So I was constipated, and then when I finally was able to poop, I was bleeding. Okay, TMI. But apparently it's very common when you have vaginal birth to get hemorrhoids, or even if you've had them in pregnancy. So yay me, another fucking symptom comes up. So I was like, oh my god, why am I bleeding from my butthole? Like, I was freaking out, dude. I was so scared. I was like, why the fuck am I bleeding? You know? So that happened. Of course, I emailed my doctor. She said that it could either be hemorrhoids or it was probably just because I was constipated. So she told me to stick my finger up my butt and I would feel them. So I was like, I'm not about to stick my finger with these claws, okay? So I was like, you know what, I'll just go to the doctor. You can tell me if it is, you know? So they're not gonna just check my butthole, you know? Like, they weren't just gonna be like, let me look at your butt and put my fingers in there. So I went, you know, they did what they had to do. They basically checked me, and it was not hemorrhoids. It was because I was straining so hard for so long to try to poop that I must have teared, and I must have bloop, you know, just bled a little. So it was not hemorrhoids. So I was very happy about that, because I know it's very common. So if you guys did not know that, if you have vaginal birth and because you're pushing so hard, or even if you're pregnant, it's very common for you to get hemorrhoids. So if you bleed, don't get scared, guys, because I wish I would have known that, because I didn't even fucking know that. Sometimes it's good to know, so you prepare yourself. And that's the thing that I just wish. This is why I Google so much, because I just want to know. Like, as long as I know, I'll be okay and I'll be fine. So that's something that you guys can definitely look forward to, if it is something that you guys do. And now back to breastfeeding. I pumped for about 4 weeks, I want to say. So I stopped breastfeeding August 1st. So it was right after he was about to be a month. So I breastfed for about a month. And it was definitely not by choice. My milk supply just started going down slowly. I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened. I bought the cookies to help me produce. I tried oatmeal. It didn't work. I was producing milk, just not enough to feed him. So it took me a while to go. I was doing like 2 ounces of breast milk, and then I would do 2 ounces of formula between feedings. You know, not together, but like I would do like breastfeeding, formula, breastfeeding, formula. And I did that for a while. So when I did that, I just started getting really frustrated because I wanted to breastfeed for at least 3 months. And I think it was because when you're pumping, you're not so much on a consecutive schedule, because there were days when I didn't pump for like 5 or 6 hours. So that's already bad. You know, when you're breastfeeding directly to your boob, your baby's literally drinking all the time. I didn't have that privilege. So my baby literally, I couldn't, you know? So that's probably where the biggest disappointment happened, because when my milk officially dried out, I'm still a little leaky, but when it officially was just like, you're done, Blanca, it was probably about 2 or 3 days ago that I was like, okay, the milk is done, because I was still pumping whatever I could take out, even though I was already substituting with formula. I was very, very, very sad, because I know how important it is for you to breastfeed, and I already know how important it was for him. And I think that's kind of what bothered me the most, that it wasn't so much by choice. I feel like it just didn't work. Like, the transition didn't work for me. I don't know if I gave up too easily. I don't know what it was, but I was very, very disappointed in myself. And it didn't get any better when I did switch him to formula, because he got constipated. So imagine, like, you knowing that your baby's on a steady, you know, pooping schedule, and he was, you know, taking your milk and so good, and then all of a sudden you switch him, and then it's like he gets constipated and he's in pain. Like, you're gonna feel like a freaking horrible mom. And I was feeling like crap. I was like, I'm so selfish. I was like, why am I not trying harder? Like, I'm just thinking about me and the fact that like I didn't have time that hour, you know. Like, I was being very hard on myself. And Ulises was just kind of like, you know, just relax, babe, it's okay, like he's being fed, it didn't work, you know, so don't be hard on yourself. And it doesn't help when other moms, you know, voice their opinions like, you need to breastfeed. It's like, I wish I could, you know, I wish my boob could just, I wish it could just be there and, you know, feed. But fortunately, it's not always as easy for everybody. So that was very, very hard for me because he got constipated. It ended up being that he was constipated because of the milk. So as soon as I switched him to another brand, he went back to pooping, and he's taking everything really good. He's not getting any like stomach aches. My baby was never fussy when it came to like colic or anything like that. Like, he's always been very, very, very good. He doesn't keep me up at night. He was literally an angel, and has been an angel, because he is not, you know, stressing mama out. Like, he is being so good to me. So I'm enjoying it. Might not be forever, but I'm enjoying it right now that I could. So then back to my body. Now that the milk is out, my boobs are so sad. My boobs, I wish I can flash you guys right now, okay? But my boobs are not, like, my boobs used to be like right here. They were saggy, but not hella saggy. Like, they were natural saggy. My boobs now, my nipples like fucking down here, okay? My boobs are so sad. I was showing Ulises a couple of days ago, and I was like, babe, look at my boob, grab it. Like, I told him to like grab my boob, and there's like skin on my boobs. Like, I can like probably pull my skin and push it up because of how deflated they are. I don't even feel like they have volume anymore. And I used to have nice volume. Like, I used to have really nice volume as far as boobs. Now I feel like they're just deflated. You know, when like a balloon pops, that's how they feel. So that's kind of been something I've been a little insecure about, because I was already naturally insecure about how my boobs were before, and now it's even worse. Like, I even told Lisa, like, I didn't even want to show him, but I did. I was like, look, babe, this is what you're working with, you know? So it was funny because I told him, I was like, my boobs are so sad, and then he was like, do you want your boobs back, or do you want me to return Max, you know? So I was like, oh, babe, you know, he never puts me down about anything, so I feel like that's important. You know, he makes me feel a lot better about myself. So when he said that, I was like, okay, you're right. You know, it's the sacrifice that you have to make when you see your baby and you see what you've created. It's all worth it. It's all worth the pain. It's all worth the struggle. It's all worth everything that I've mentioned today. Everything that I've said that's happened that I wish I would have known happens. It was all worth it. Like, I see him and I wouldn't take anything back. It's no regret. I'm gonna insert a clip of what my stomach looks like now, so you guys can see kind of like where that fat is. To a lot of you guys, before you guys even go on the comments and you're like, oh my god, it's not that bad, why are you worried, blah 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 blah. It's something that is bothering me. Just because it's not bothering you doesn't mean that it's not gonna bother me, because I know that that's not what my stomach looked like before. But for the most part, that's pretty much how everything has been. I did heal, you know, pretty well, and I want you guys all to take this video in. It was super long, but I want you guys all to take this video in and just kind of realize that we're all gonna heal differently, and you're not alone. Most moms can probably relate to everything that you're feeling right now, and I want you guys all to go, if you haven't given birth or if you're going through it right now, just going with a positive mentality and know that this isn't forever and it's only temporary. You know, don't live so much at that moment, and just think about the future and think about everything that you've done, and just look at your baby and look at him and realize, like, wow, you know, I did this, you know. Our husbands can't say they did that shit, you know. So you just need to look at him and be like, that's my baby. I feel like I have so much more to say, guys. Like, I'm so down to doing a part 2, because I know I probably forgot half of the shit that I was gonna say because I talk too damn much. But I would definitely do a part 2 for you guys. Comment below, let me know questions that you guys actually want to know. I'll definitely write it down next time, so I know that I'm more prepared, because I know that there was much more that I went in as far as how my healing was, because it was very, very hard for me, guys. Like, emotionally, physically, mentally, everything. You know, you're dealing with being sleep deprived, you're dealing with having to do everything, you're weak, you know, and now you just gave you have a baby to worry about. So it's a lot that us women go through. So I'm down to continue and do a part 2 for this, just for those of you guys if I didn't answer your questions. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video and my rambling. If you guys have questions, like I mentioned, comment below, like this video if you liked it, and I will see you guys on my next video. Love you guys.